Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, good to be here. That looks like the three of us tonight.
And Mr. Keith Farrell.
Good to see everybody.
Tom Mathis and Doug Lansdowne are on assignment. Doug is coaching a basketball game. When we say Doug has coached basketball games, we're not kidding, Joe. He's coached a lot of basketball games in his day.
Yes, he has. And when you get snow down there, it's kind of frowned upon in Southwest Missouri, but they will play on Wednesday night. He has districts coming, so that's why they got to get these in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, very important. In this edition of the podcast, was it the most boring Super Bowl ever? Well, it's certainly in the discussion. The Billikens roll, Illinois stumbles, and Mizzou looks better. Spring training is here. What are reasonable expectations for the Cardinals? And it's Winter Olympic time. Biathlon, luge, curling. It's all here. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. You know, Joe, Mr. Farrell and I were lucky enough to watch the Super Bowl with Jason and his lovely wife. So good to catch up. We actually talked about a project that he is working on from the podcast. Yes. So,
all right.
So if you want to be like that individual and work with Jason on a project, you can go to stcoaststeel.com and see how Jason and his team can help you. And we'll hear more from Sandra Templeoff and them later in the show. And tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact Dave at 417-217-9622, Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. And I was thrown off there because, ironically, we had a black cat jump on the table as I was reading the Black Dog spot.
And it is a curious little stinker at this time, too.
It is a very active black cat. So, sorry, Dave, I'll give that number again. It's 417-217-9622, Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. And we'll also keep our eye on this very curious.
He's got us all on that box.
She's got a box. It's a cat in a box. We know how that goes.
Not a cat in a hat.
No, it's a cat in a box. If you have a minute, good listeners, and would like to leave a review of our podcast, preferably 5 stars, man, does that help us out. We are on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can watch this on YouTube at STL Sportists, and our website is STLSportists.com, stlouissportists.com. Let's lead it off with quick hits, Joe Sperlin. What do you have?
Ron, I'm wondering, when you were talking with Jason about the building, did you have to go to the mid-level of discussions at your Super Bowl party, or did you get to stay down with the degenerates down there wagering on the game?
We were at Dr. Captain's on level 3, the basement level down by the pool.
Right.
Which it was a fantastic group down there. So thanks for bringing that up. Yes.
It was a football watching group.
It was
quite a group of the photo that you guys sent. So Speaking of football, as everything kind of settles down, I got this of a young man from Montana and a linebacker by the name of Solomon Tuluapua, and I'm sure I messed up that name, who is getting ready to be his 9th year of eligibility coming up in the fall.
How?
He will be 26 years old in March. Okay, so here is his 9 years. And I know this might shock you. He is not a native of Montana. He started out at USC. He injured his foot in 18 his freshman year, missed 19 because of the foot injury, come into 20, injured his knee. Of course, that was the COVID year that everybody got it. He's out for 21, so he's been in college 4 years and has had 2 major injuries, is not playing. He finally, in 22, his redshirt senior year, he plays in 14 games. Not a lot of them, but had 10 tackles. 23 missed the entire season. Could not find out why. In 24, he played 7 games and injured in illness. He transfers to Montana and plays in 5 games, 2 in September, and then finishes the 3 in December playoffs. And next year will be his 9th year of eligibility at Montana. So he has not played. He has played in that time of 8 years. He has played in 26 games.
That sounds like Chris Bryant with the Rockies.
Yeah.
When you gave the name, Joe, I thought he was someone that McGarrett had busted. I mean, I thought he might be that old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is there such thing as leadership in that locker room? Holy smokes, he probably has 3 kids, 2 wives by that time. I mean, holy smokes.
26 in March.
He's off of his dad's insurance.
Yeah. He's off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh dear. That's a new one. Keith, what do you have?
Did you hear about Phil Simms getting on talking about Sam Darnold's tax bill with the state of California?
No, I
Yes,
did not.
I did see that.
But I didn't get all the specifics with that. But apparently, every player gets $178,000 to play in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Apparently, his tax bill this year from the state of California, because, if you play a game in California, if you spend time in California on official business, you get a tax bill from that state. Apparently, his tax bill is greater than $178,000. And I heard from one outlet that he actually owes money to the state of California in the tune of $71,000, which is absolutely insane. And Phil Simms gets on the radio show. He's like, hey, NFLPA, lobby not for your Super Bowls to be in California. This is ridiculous. You shouldn't
a little silly.
These guys with these taxes like that. And I can't help but agree with them.
That's crazy.
Oh, by the way, and where's next year's Super Bowl at?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Go back to that song by Frank Black. Those of you that are familiar with the former lead singer of the Pixies, it's a fine tune, by the way. And I once saw Frank Black do an acoustic set at the American Theater, and Frank is I'd say Frank is rotund, Joe, and he comes out with an acoustic guitar and he does a song, and then he rotates it to his side and he puts another guitar on, and then he rotates that guitar, and then by the end of his set, he's wearing 3 guitars, and he did an acoustic version of the old MTV classic Headache with his 3rd guitar on.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And no one ever saw the guitars.
Do not try this at home.
Yeah.
My quick hit is we woke to the news today that the University of Missouri-Columbia is looking to sell naming rights to Memorial Stadium. It is technically Memorial Stadium. It's Faurot Field at Memorial Stadium. A lot of people just call it Faurot Field, but technically it is Memorial Stadium. Those that follow these sorts of things, the industry experts believe that it could give the university anywhere from $5 to $10 million per year. That's apparently the going rate for an SEC venue in football. The leading candidates for this are medical interests and financial institutions. You immediately go Stiefel. You immediately go Mercy. Yeah. You immediately go. Why is it that I hear Mike Kelly going, "Your shield of shelter"?
Yeah.
I was thinking Walmart had an influence, and if that was the case, you'd probably have to do your own kiosks at the beer stand. That wouldn't go over very well.
Oh, that's true too.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, it reminds me, because one of my favorite things is hearing Mike Kelly talk about the yield. This pesticide gives you the best yield. Missouri split wide in the shotgun. And Jamie and I were listening to the Illinois game last night, and they were doing their halftime, little paid bit with this gal for some crop thing. And, she was just literally reading her talking points. And I could tell she was reading, about how this is specialized to specific crops and everything. And I just said to Jane, I'm like, I'm so disappointed she didn't use the word yield. I mean, Mike Kelly has me.
He has it figured out.
He has me conditioned for that. On a serious note, why is it Memorial Stadium? It was dedicated and named for the 112 University of Missouri Columbia alumni who died fighting World War I. And it's now for sale. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yep.
Keith Farrell, Mizzou on the basketball court, you kept waiting for them against South Carolina on Saturday to have that stretch that we always talk about where they stop scoring and they can't stop but they didn't.
Yeah, kind of nice to see them, put their foot on another team's throat and finish it off like they should. Convincing win against South Carolina. You look at this time of the year, I believe they have 8 regular season games left, 3 against ranked teams. This is a really good opportunity for them to make a stand and really show that committee, the NCAA committee, hey, we belong. And, I looked at that schedule. They got 2 against Arkansas, and looks like they've got who they got. Well, 2 more against Arkansas. Yeah. So, the ranked teams they have 2 against Arkansas and 1 against Vandy, and which is, let's just go 6-2, make a statement in that SEC tournament. But if they can go 6-2 to end the regular season, win 3 games, that's putting them at 25 wins, total. That's gonna be hard for them to stay out of the tournament with 25 wins and
as an SEC schedule.
Yeah. So but they got to get on a roll. They got to find some consistency on their inside game, defense. I mean, it needs to come together, and the NCAA committee tends to reward teams that are playing well going into the tournament.
They do. They have a recency bias,
right?
Joe, they're 16-7, 6-4 in the SEC. Some would say they are still squarely on the bubble. One of the projections we saw that just made me chuckle out loud had them in a play-in game with the winner playing SLU. How much mayhem? How much mayhem would that be?
Wow! Be a lot of people going to Dayton. That'll be the first time ever Dayton said that we are completely sold out.
Yeah.
I like to go with the original Joey brackets on ESPN. They had Mizzou has moved to the first 4 out. So as I like to say, they are ranked 70th right now. Georgia, who's getting smoked by Florida, I believe right now.
Yes.
Is the last 4 without a bye, and the last 4 in will be who they play Saturday at a noted sellout, the Texas Longhorns.
Mm-hmm. So when they say last 4 in, that counts the play-ins, correct?
Yes, they are the last 4 in. And then Georgia was the last 4 without a bye. So like Georgia would be they're the ones that are like seeded 10th or something. I think I said Georgia was rated 10th.
Yeah. What's going to happen is some team in the Atlantic Pacific Conference, some unknown conference, middle of the pack is going to steal. And that's going to be the 16 ranked play-in. That's going to be one of those 2 16s.
And I was seeing this, that all of a sudden it's like the A10, like VCU is like possibly a team that could get another bye. So it'd be like 3 teams from the A10.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of the A10, Keith, we watched the SLU Billikens on Saturday have their first kind of not exactly crisp first half. They almost looked like they thought, hey, we can just show up and...
That's exactly what it looked like. We're just going to show up and win. This time of the year, yeah. I mean, it's got to be a sustained success. It's got to be, what did we learn from that game? And, this is a team that, it's an impressive record, but you're going to have to you're going to have to be more impressive.
Yeah. SLU currently sits at number 18, 23-1, 11-0 in the A10. They did survive their first clunker on Saturday. Bad first half, but came back strong in the second. They tried to get, there's a rumor, Joe, that they are trying to get into the Big East. The junior senator from Missouri is lobbying to get them in the Big East, and that the Big East kind of said, not so fast, my friend.
Yes. I think it may have been the famous, you're not, Big East level,
That's the most polite way I've heard it said.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was trying to think of the, what is it? You're not Big East material. You're not Harvard material here in the Big East.
Well, and that was it's the Billikens have always had kind of that issue with their conference. We were talking a few weeks ago about the Metro 7. You can go all the way back to the 70s. And a lot of people wanted them in the Missouri Valley, because if you think about the natural rivalries there with SIU,
Illinois State,
back when Missouri State was there, that would have been, but SLU always kind of seemed to think they were above that. And then, of course, I heard it was a Dr. Biondi thing. Dr. Father Biondi wanted them in to have more of an East Coast presence, which is why they went A10. But now the profile for the A10 has just fallen.
Yeah, they have been able to get multiple teams in the tournament consistently. So to think that there could be 3 teams this year, I mean, history's not on the side.
No.
So I mean, you gotta win your tournament. That's the history. That's the recency with the A10.
Yeah,
as he was saying, that's the safest way, because then, like you said, then people win the tournaments that aren't supposed to win it in, the mid majors, the other mid majors, like the Missouri Valley, for example. Somebody wins that's not supposed to win it. It's not like it used to be, but still something like that.
Or what really throws it into chaos is if some SEC team that's been terrible all season, because then you've got to take that SEC team, and then it's like, okay, what does that do to the 6 or 7 other SEC teams that you've got to shoehorn in? I mentioned that last night Jamie and I were listening to the Illinois game. We ended up watching the end, and boy, what a shocker there. The Wisconsin Badgers go into Champaign. It's not Champaign-Urbana anymore, is it? They just say Champaign.
Do they?
I guess. I don't know. And in overtime, Whiskey pulls out the upset, and this after Coach Izzo turned Saturday night's game into a bare-knuckle street fight in Lansing. He has a tendency to do that, doesn't he, Joe? He kind of gets teams out of their rhythm up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I always like it when he sits there and says, there's dirty play and everything else. Okay, well, you kind of, you better hit someone in the mouth before they hit you in the mouth, I guess.
Yeah. But Coach Izzo, your players threw the first 6 elbows. Well,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Izzo looks like,
and I still sit there and think, it's a long basketball season. Illinois is sitting there, like you said. They're number 8 in the nation, and they're just the focus in the middle of February. They're sitting there go, hey, we got 3 more weeks. We're less than a month to March Madness, and they're ready to get to March.
Yeah. They had a 12-game winning streak, including wins against Purdue and Nebraska, and now they've lost 2 in a row. Keith, you still thinking this looks like a Final Four team to you?
Oh, it's got the roster to be a Final Four team for sure. Yeah.
Experience, yeah.
Yep.
And here's another one of our bracketology from Joey Brackets there on ESPN. We said last week that St. Louis was a 7 and Illinois was a 2, but St. Louis was going to Oklahoma City. Now they have St. Louis coming to St. Louis in a possible Illinois-St. Louis matchup after the first round.
Oh, my. That
Folks,
would be fun.
If you're in St. Louis, you might want to try to get those tickets now before they are released.
I cannot imagine what the get-in price would be for that.
Well, yeah. And but bring a neck brace after that game, because there's going to be a lot of back and forth action.
Yeah.
It'll be like watching a tennis match.
Hey, I was getting ready to say, it's like an NBA, you finally remember what it was like to have an NBA team in St. Louis, that's what it would be like.
Pretty well, and the spirits of St. Louis wore orange. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect tie. On Monday night, one of the better college basketball games of the year, as number 1 Arizona went into Allen Fieldhouse. Just an entertaining game, and the Kansas Jayhawks took them down. Speaking of our friend Dr. Captain Kim Simon, she was there. And Darren Peterson, the very talented Kansas freshman, did not play, allegedly had the flu. Kim was saying among the chattering class there at Kansas, speculation he and Coach Self got into a tiff before the game, and it ended up with one or the other saying that they were just not going to play, and they asked the question. They asked the question today: is one $3 million freshman worth more than three $1 million freshmen? Keith, that's like a high school debate class.
Yes, and I'm just looking up right now how many wins Bill Self has, and he is being challenged by a 19-year-old kid who makes a little bit less money than Bill Self.
There you go, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But for a kid to go in there making $3 million and then challenging legendary coach,
national champion,
and who knows what? I mean, the color of the Gatorade that's going to be in there. And I don't know, but yeah, give me Bill Self every single time, and I wonder if the kid learned anything.
No. Let me answer that. No.
He's still getting that money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, Ron. And I had told you, I had read something of someone, kind of like, and I hate to bring this up, the hockey plus and minus, but it was like how Kansas plays better when that guy's not on the court.
Yeah. And one of my favorite memes I've seen this year is the takeoff on the old from Moneyball where he's saying,
yes,
Billy, this is Darren Peterson. He's one of the best players in the country, but he hates basketball. But Joe, you kind of wonder if that's some of the questions that especially mid-majors or kind of not top-tier major D1 programs are going to ask. Is it better to have $3 million guys as opposed to one really good dude?
Well, I guess I'll go to college for 1 year because they make me. I'll get my money. I'll not get hurt, and I'll not look bad. I mean, when you look at who he has set out against, it's been the better teams. And, and he's still getting paid, and next year he's still going to get paid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, that's guaranteed, as our old friend Justin Wilson used to say.
Yes.
Tristan. Yeah, so that's going to be fun to watch, especially down the stretch, because there were kind of rumors and scuttlebutt that don't be surprised if he takes a short vacation or possibly even a long vacation from the University of Kansas.
Yeah, and if what was said, someone may have gotten their feelings hurt, and I don't think it was Bill Self.
No, yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. But so we mentioned watching the Super Bowl with Jason and Sherry Sellers. Joe, my first word I have on our Super Bowl recap is boring. Was that a boring game, or was that there's an old saying, baseball is dull only to those with dull minds. Was that a game for football purists, defensive coaches like yourself?
I think it was. I mean, I think most people watching the Super Bowl, first of all, a lot of the people at my house, when I had the little prop sheet made up just for fun, almost everyone in my house said, I don't know anyone from Seattle. Like, they didn't know. I mean, when someone said, hey, what's the quarterback's name? And I said, just put the Seattle quarterback if that's who you think is going to get the MVP. And same thing. Yeah. It was, I only know one guy from New England, and it's the quarterback. And his name is, and I had to help him with that, but they couldn't name anyone else on the Super Bowl. And I think that's what it was.
I got a good one for you, Joe. So my wife was looking for a good bet. So she put in the chat GBT, what's the best bet for Seattle? And it spit out Geno Smith's name.
Oh,
true story.
I was there when
story.
it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the person that won the pool at my house, the prop bets, she put down for the MVP Walker. And when I said, hey, that won it for you, she goes, you know why I picked him? Because when you had who's going to score the first touchdown for Seattle, Walker was the first name I had. And she goes, was he the running back? And I said, yes.
It's come to this, folks. So is this what the NFL is now, which is like, have we moved from a quarterback league to where this is a defense and run the ball thing? Are we because we know we go through phases here. Are we now in a defense and running phase?
Yes. And yes. Yeah. You need a strong running game too, obviously, but if that defense can stop the run, I mean, and you don't have a passing game, you see what happened to Drake May.
Yeah.
And that actually happened 2 games in a row. And he was just fortunate that Denver turned the ball over in that AFC Championship game, or else we would have been saying the same thing about the Broncos not being able to score against Seattle.
And then, Joe, what's the other one I found interesting is how will the 2025 season be remembered? And that almost ties into that a little bit.
Well, as I say all the time, the NFL loves the parody that anybody can come back, after what New England did last year, and here they come back.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody, the day after the Super Bowl, then it was everybody said, all right, who's going to be in the Super Bowl next year? And I don't think I saw any expert had the Patriots on there. Well, because
Nope.
they won't have that worse schedule. I mean, they're going to have a better schedule next year.
Nope.
And I think it's the same thing, Ron. You talk about running and defense. You had a guy come from a high school, a 44-year-old quarterback, and play in the NFL.
Yeah.
And did pretty good.
He did. I think he exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then you got another team who wants a 42-year-old quarterback who will spend the offseason in a mud hut. They want him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the Raiders,
mutual interest.
You got the Raiders, who's got a guy coming from college that they are like putting the entire their entire franchise on. That's not a franchise quarterback. His last name's not Manning.
Right.
I mean, he did great, but that's going to be the guy the Raiders put all their money on. So,
and I believe he's the only quarterback projected to go in the first round.
Yeah. This is not a good year to be drafting for quarterbacks.
Yeah, and you wisely come out and didn't wait till next year when there'll be a bunch of quarterbacks.
Right.
But
right.
You're right. And did you see the video of the Seattle D-backs talking about how they could tell when May was going to throw there at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He said when he comes back and he takes that last step, he pauses and checks his receiver again, as they said, like a young quarterback does. And as they said, he's not like Stafford, who throws it without looking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so by the way, and Stafford, who lit up Seattle,
It's still not as good as my all-time favorite, which is Bob Hayes in the Ice Bowl. You remember that one? Bob Hayes, of course, the world's fastest man, was a wide receiver for the Cowboys in the Ice Bowl, and they say that when he would go to his position and he would have his hands inside the front of his pants, it was a run.
Yeah.
But if it was a pass, he would have his hands outside his pants. So not that blatant, but in the ballpark. And then just to close out our NFL here, one of the things to remember 2025 by was it was the end. Was it the end of the Chiefs dynasty or a pause on the Chiefs dynasty? I mean, they've got some holes to fill.
No, yeah, I think that it's definitely it's an end. It's an end. For me, it's an end. They had a lot of age on both sides of the ball. And, their game has changed. It will look slow, and he can only get faster with youth. Yeah. I just don't think you can free agent yourself into becoming a faster team.
Well, and they're gonna have the old better record, schedule wise. And, I see them already saying at the 9th pick, they're going to pick Love from Notre Dame, who I think is a really good running back. But you're right. They still have some lineman issues. They still need receivers. They still need some defensive help. But, Kelsey's going to redo his contract to make his friendly because I don't know if money's an issue anymore with Travis for some reason. How low can Travis go? How low can Travis say, "I'll pay you $8 million if you let me play"?
He can go as low as the union will allow.
Yeah, it's the reverse. It's salary.
Right.
Hey, too bad it's not NIL, and all of a sudden they're like, the Chiefs have Taylor Swift supporting the Chiefs NIL program here. So,
oh boy, wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because I've seen some of our mutual friends say, "Oh, all I have to do is draft a running back," and I'm thinking, I don't know that it's that.
I think it's the guys in front of them.
Yeah,
that tackle is going to get Mahomes' leg snapped in half if they're not careful.
That's a risk.
He's going to get Theismann if he's not careful. He's going to get Alex Smith if he's not careful.
That's 2 weeks in a row we've mentioned Joe Theismann, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't count on that. And Joe, before we do leave the NFL here for this week, were there any of the gambling, any of the bets that you thought that were noteworthy to revisit?
The national anthem was an easy under as that slowly dropped once. It was amazing how that dropped after they say the review or the rehearsal happens on Thursday.
Yes.
The picture of Cooper Kupp was a fraud. There was only 2 passes thrown. It was tails. Did you see the stat on the Super Bowls that the Patriots lost? They won the toss each time.
No.
The Super Bowls they won, they lost the toss.
Oh, my.
And they won the toss, which was amazing, too.
Interesting.
Then the other thing was, I love how 2 minutes before the game was over, they showed the yellow Gatorade getting churned to dump on the coach. And as you said, and I forgot who was that replied, the MVP's first shout out was to God. So if you had wagered on that, there's something wrong with you. But if you did wager on that, I wagered on God and won money. So
as Tom Mathis said, give me $20 on God. Tom would be richer.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah, spiritually, we're not sure, but at least financially he would be.
And Ron, our final results were not good, as we said, for the NFL.
Oh, dear.
Doug was at 40.8%.
Mm-hmm.
Keith was at 42.6%. And Ron, you were at 44%. Now, if you guys took your money you won from college on Saturday and bet it on Sunday, the same amount, I think you guys would have broke even. It would have been really close. And then I would say I was the biggest loser at 48%. So once again, kids, if you wager on the NFL, don't do it.
This is why I do not ever bet on the National Football League.
For me, Joe, the most exciting part of the game was watching a guy run out of bounds, get tackled at the end of the third quarter. I won a square.
Oh, yeah.
12-0.
Nice.
Yeah, so when I saw that my numbers were 2-0 when I first got those numbers, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
God. And next thing I know, 4 field goals, I was a happy camper.
I love the people that were sitting there saying that they had money on no touchdown scored, the kicker being the MVP, no touchdown scored in the entire game. I mean, some of those numbers were crazy.
Well, folks, we are past the halfway point. Sometimes it just works out like that. It does on the St. Louis Sportists podcast. And it is time to hear from Sandra and the good folks at First Coast Steel Buildings. When we come back, the Cardinals go to spring training. The Olympics are underway, and St. Louis City has a fever. And the only cure is adding another center back. All this and more when we return.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848 or firstcoaststeel.com. Discounts for military and first responders.
And we are back on the St. Louis Sportists podcast. It's Joe Sperlin. It's Keith Farrell. My name is Ron Cook, and Keith, one of the great rites of passage. The semis have arrived and been unloaded. It's spring training in Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals are at spring training.
Yeah, it's a great time of the year. Football's officially over, and no matter how you feel about this year's team, spring is in the air. It's sort of like Groundhog Day might be a little bit more exciting in this Cardinal team, but hey, let's see how the spring goes. It's going to be, for me, it's always fun this time of the year. It might be the most fun we have this year.
Yeah, we might be peaking right now.
Right. We might be peaking right now.
Do you think we're finished with trades? Or you think what we've got now is what we're going to see when the Mustangs and pickup trucks go around the field?
The only name that I think would be a welcome addition, and the name that seems to be getting some traction, is Andrew McCutcheon. And what a leader he could be on this locker in that locker room.
Yeah,
they're going to need it.
Yeah,
I heard the other day that Michael McGreevy was the one making the phone calls to pitchers, telling them what to expect at Major League camp. Now, what are you talking about? Second-year player, third-year player?
Second-year player, a guy who didn't have a full season last year.
Right. So he's the grizzly old veteran. Telling them, how to do this, how to do that. This is how to rent your home and whatever. Here's a hot spot.
Right.
So who knows? But yeah, I think I looked at that 40-man roster. It's absolutely pathetic. I think this is the first year since the All-Star game where we did not have an All-Star going into the season. So, ouch. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, that's for sure.
It's a little like the beginning of Major League. When she hands out the list of people and someone says, "This guy's dead."
Yeah. Ron, it's funny you saw that on X today. They had that clip of when the players all showed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jake Taylor, he was in the Mexican League. Well, he's got bad knees. It was just an entire list of everything. It was kind of humorous of watching that.
Charlie Sheen, what league was he in last year? California Penal League. Yeah. Right.
It's the first time, and you guys would be able to answer this, of where the words rebuilding, total rebuilding is coming in with St. Louis.
Yeah, because you'd have to go back a very, very long way. I mean, possibly realistically back to 1991, maybe. That's a long time. That's a very long time. Katie Wu wrote kind of a national story, and she was talking about the biggest winners and losers of the off season, and her number one list on losers was the Cardinals. Keith, were they the biggest losers of the off season?
Boy, we're an easy target. We kind of lost our way a little bit in the Mosaic era. boy, come on, Katie, you can't. I mean, she left. It was so bad in St. Louis. Our beat writer actually left too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Katie, thanks for picking on us. I would like to think that we did it to ourselves, but bringing a new president of operations and general manager and Heimblum coming in here and really shaking the tree and kind of getting rid of some, just giving us a fresh start. That's how I'm going to look at it. I think we'll take our bumps, but I don't think we're going to be as bad. I looked at the Cardinals teams of the past and how they would approach the Pirates and how they would approach the Marlins. And when those teams came into Busch Stadium, they always gave a good fight.
Right.
I remember the Cardinals, always having a tough time against who's that pitcher? That was the first start, the second start for name whatever team out there. Maybe that's the year. This is the year the Cardinals have that pitcher on the mound that we've never heard of, or the other teams haven't heard of, and they give other teams fits.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have said it. There's no all-star right now, but you sit there and besides Mason Wynn, but you sit there and say, all right, who's going to be the next guys here in the next 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the breakout guy? Who's going to be the best one for the Cardinals? Every year you've been able to name them. Now it's like, and like you said, you're not used to that, and it'll be kind of rough. But hey, like you said, if they're giving good effort and playing hard, you probably will go watch it.
Well, I think so, much more so than the past year.
Yeah.
And speaking of the past year, 2 old friends found homes yesterday and today. Eric Fetty goes back to the White Sox, and Mr. Soft Contact himself, Miles Michaelis, inks a deal with the Washington Nationals today, which seems just kind of perfect. I kind of think we're getting ready to do our 20 questions. I think one of them needs to be, which of those two will have a better ERA plus for the season?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who will be the guy that you'll sit there and say, thank God he's not with St. Louis anymore?
Yeah.
Hey,
the other question, Joe, that
not
I
our
was
problem anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You, Joey, had kind of brought up the question earlier. I kind of phrased it a little bit differently with the Cardinals this year, and that is, who's going to make the most of their opportunity? And I'm not trying to get a spin on words, but because we know what Mason Wynn is, I think we know what Alec Burleson is.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so much slack that we've given to Walker, so much slack we've been given to Gorman.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget Joe's favorite.
Yeah, Lars.
Yeah, Lars is in the same boat. The question with him is, how long will it be before he gets his first injury?
Well, yeah, exactly. Then you sit there and you go, when he's hurt in the end of April, you're like, oh, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll have a spring training injury or first week injury, one of the two.
But he's almost reached the point where that's when you say, Lars, we need to have a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote down 2 names, and one is Kyle Leahy. To see, I mean, this is his year to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
Sort of like Palante last year, who stunk it up. And Dustin May, I can't wait to see what he does.
Right.
And if we can get some wins out of those 2 guys after replacing Fetty and Michaelis last year, I think, you're replacing wins with losses.
I'll tell you one thing. I actually want to watch games those guys pitch, and I did not want to watch games. To your point, Joe, I want to watch those guys pitch. I did not want to watch Michaelis and Fetty last year.
Yeah. The old saying of, I can't watch him pitch again.
Right.
And I think it was Ollie that said, we need innings.
Right. It's a different sport, but it was just before Gene Stallings cut kicker John Lee from the Big Red when he screamed at him in front of the entire team, I'm getting tired of watching you kick.
Yeah. And that's not good.
No.
That is not good when the head coach screams at you like that.
No,
I've seen
really
all
not.
I can handle.
Yeah. Yeah. And
are you telling me it's not Bill Self saying, if you're going to play half-ass, don't play? Oops, allegedly.
Allegedly. We have to have allegedly, by the way, every week too.
Yeah.
Right now, Joe, on screen 2, we're watching people ski downhill very fast. I don't think Franz
Holy
Klammer is
cow.
anywhere to be seen. So the Olympics are in, let's see, Milan, and then that other place. They said that the second venue is like, they said it was a ski venue for the ultra rich, not the rich, the ultra rich. And they said, kind of think of Vale on steroids.
Oh, wow.
Cortina. Yes, Cortina is the place that they said. And so you were the one that was up early enough, Joe, to send the message in our chat about Lindsey Vonn. Wow. She talk about leaving it all on the field or the slopes, as the case may be. My goodness gracious. Profile and courage right there.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I was not up at 4:30 to watch it, but I was up early enough to, that's what you got to be careful. If you're wanting to watch the Olympics, don't get on social media first, because it happened probably at 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning our time. But yeah, holy cow. I told Rhonda, I said, it's amazing you trained 4 years, and you hear this all the time in the Olympics. They went down that hill very fast in like a minute, 10, minute, 15 seconds. And they trained 4 years for that.
Yeah.
And in her case, Lindsey Vonn come back to go 14 seconds.
What if you have a bad night's sleep the night before?
Oh, yeah. And I saw a picture of her today, and she had a contraption on her leg, and she said she will have to have multiple surgeries. And the thing that I just sit there and, she was like, no comment, but her dad come on and said, she has skied for the last time competitively. I'm sure. It right now.
I'm sure. And Joe, before I bring Keith in, I do want to go back. I mentioned kind of half jokingly Franz Klammer. If you're Austria 1976, and if you've never seen it, Google Franz Klammer Austria 1976. Talk about a dude basically going down a mountain out of control and somehow winning a gold medal. It's one of the most insane things you'll ever see in your life.
And part of the skiing going down there, I don't know if I'm watching it, but I'm also looking onto the side and noticing that certain parts of that downhill with the women, they were going 78 and 80 miles an hour. Okay. Then, and this is the great thing, I've seen it in skiing and on the luge and all this other stuff. They have these really tiny drones that are following the competitors. Now, as I told, once again, I said, don't watch the skier and look at the trees, how fast they go down the hill. Because when you're watching the skiers, your perception is you don't, it's kind of like staring down the road going 90 miles an hour. Don't look fast until you look to your left and notice how fast you're really going.
Yeah. And Joe, one more, just to wrap up, or not to wrap up, but one more thing for you. And by the way, Keith is watching Franz Klammer right now. I'm not kidding.
He's literally on one ski. Like,
we'll need to post this. We'll post this on our Facebook page, folks. When you and I were growing up, 76, 80, there was what the network would feed us, which was not round the clock necessarily. I mean, we would see, a few hours a day of coverage. But now with the streaming and the fact that, like, if you have DirecTV or cable, you've got USA Network, you've got Peacock, and Peacock has 5 or 6 streams, and then you've got big NBC. It's almost a little bit overwhelming in terms of what to watch.
If you're wanting to watch the mixed team biathlon live, you know what I mean? You're going to be able to watch it. And I mean, you're going to be able to see it whenever you want, whatever event you want to watch. And speaking of that, and I'm just said that something I could think of. Did you see the guy who supposedly skied uphill like a sub 6-minute mile?
Yes.
That was incredible.
It hurt me to watch, actually.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm going to use our old friend Super 70s to the magnificent bastard, as he likes to say, that came up with the idea of combining skiing and shooting a rifle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how many cocktails you'd had when you thought, what a great idea for the biathlon to go ski and combine a firearm.
My favorite, and once again, I will insult any listeners over in the European countries, but one of my favorites is
we have them, by the way.
Yes, the curling. Like I said, if that's not a beer drinking event that you would just do when you were sitting there and there was nothing else to do in the winter, and they're like, hey, if we take these stones and skim them down there, let's see who can get the closest to their target down there. That's almost like a redneck Olympic event in snow, you know. What are we going to do? Well, let's just slide that dude down there and let's see who can get the closest.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, he did it in he got, 3 inches from the center. You think you can get closer than that?
I have been curling.
Oh,
and let me clear off the spot here with this here broom.
It's a fantastically fun sport. You got to try it, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, once again, any sport that you can compete and still have a beer in your hand, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So, by the way, Keith, your thoughts on the Franz Klammer?
He was out of control the entire time. Out of control. But he looked like he was hanging on for dear life, man.
Yeah. My favorite, he spent a good portion of it on one ski.
One ski, arms flailing. I mean, he was wiping out in a split second every frame.
Folks, we will put this on our Facebook page if you don't look it up. Keith Farrell, I said in the tease that St. Louis City is addicted to center backs. We just keep signing. We did it again today. Yet another center back. Are you cool with Mr. Bescher as our 9? Do you really think he's going to be the guy that's going to pump in about 12 or 14 goals from the striker position this year?
Man, I just want goals. The answer to your direct question, yes, I think he's capable. I think there's enough skill there. What I question with Mr. Becker is if his heart's in the game, the full 90 minutes. He probably won't be playing the full 90 every game. Mm-mm. But man, he's got the skill level. I just don't know if he's got the heart and the full concentration to, play that mature game, the full 90 minutes. Really curious to see how Conrad Wallem is going to play this year.
Yeah.
This has got to be his year to, bring his full game. He's got a rocket of a shot.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see that shot miss the net several times last year. Mm-hmm. Boy, if he can start finding the back of that net,
mm-hmm.
That's why we drafted him. With our first pick last year, I believe, and we need to replace that scoring. And I'm curious, without a Klaus, who's going to take that torch, like with the Cardinals and like with the Blues. This is, we're going to see who's going to take this opportunity and run with it. There's so much playing time that can be had on this team. It's, who's going to take it? Is it going to be Teuchert? Is it going to be Hartl? Is it going to be Becker, Wallem? Is it going to be McSorley from City too? A
lot of McSorley fans out there. Well, you got to love the way he plays.
Oh God, he just north and south goes after it, and no one's questioning his effort after the game.
No. But you mentioned Teuchert, and he has not been. We thought we were getting someone who was a difference maker when he came over, and it's like there's a couple of those guys that came over that it's like you expected a little bit more. And the same thing with Wallem. It's like, okay, there's big expectations. And you mentioned his accuracy last year. Some of those shots ended up closer to Maggie O's than they did going in the net. It's time to show he can put the ball in the net.
Yeah, but is this going to be coaching? Is it going to be chemistry? Is it a little bit of both? A lot of times your coaches have to put you in position.
That's absolutely correct. So, because they moved him all over the pitch. He was on a wing. He was an attacking midfielder. He was a defensive midfielder. Did we play him at 9 a little bit? It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and the fact that the opportunity is going to be there this year for him. He's got to bring it, man. I mean, there's a lot of buzz about him.
A lot of buzz, and we're 10 days from the opening game down at Energizer Park. So,
wow,
10 days, 1 week from Valentine's Day. Your St. Louis City takes the pitch, and Joe, they unveiled, I cannot make this up, the Tina Turner tribute uniform today.
Yeah, she is a huge soccer fan.
Big soccer fan. Big soccer fan. It is gold. Is what color are they calling it?
Gold.
We'll go with gold.
Is that the picture you sent to everybody?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Calling it gold. So we'll wrap that up with the Olympics and gold and everything because it's time for the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. Black Dog LLC is here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Our friend Dave has 37 years and 4 million plus miles experience with flatbed, step deck, overdimensional dry vans, and refrigerated units. He grew the last fleet he managed from 1 truck to 5 with yearly gross revenue of $3.7 million. If this is the growth you are looking for, contact Dave at 417-217-9622 or oldblackdog0523@gmail.com. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Joe Sperlin, what do you have for a last call?
Well, Ron, we always, as we get viewer responses and listener responses, and we try to reply back to them, I'm going to reply back to comments we've had. So if we don't get to you, Jill, Morgan, keep sending in those positive replies. But I've got a reply, Ron.
If Tom doesn't mention you, we will.
Yes. Ron, of what someone in your house, JK, replied to. And hopefully this will be the last time I talk about, it's true, Uncrustables. Okay? First of all, the big hit at our Super Bowl party was the Italian sub sliders I made. But I also finally, after screwing it up New Year's Eve, I did the air fryer Uncrustables. Sprinkled a little sugar and cinnamon on them, and they were delightful. Now, I would compare it to this. The old, I say old, I'm sure they still sell them, the McDonald's apple pies.
Yes.
It was a lot like that, except they were not 1,000 degrees when you took a bite of them.
Well, they didn't burn your tongue on impact.
No, it did not go through the back of your head.
Well, that's awesome.
It was tasted about like that with a little bit of slight the peanut butter and the jelly. It was not burn your mouth, but it was good. It was all right.
Congratulations, sir.
So it's finally done. So, folks, I promise never again will I mention Uncrustables.
Well, and so you had the one that what I want to go back to is what got you in trouble before was the thawing period. How did you overcome the thawing period?
I did not thaw these. These were frozen directly out of there and put them in the air fryer. Put a little light butter on them, and that's what made the the crust very good.
All right.
It was soggy when I defrosted it, so I did not defrost it. That's what got me in trouble on New Year's.
You know what's funny is when there's a stealth hit at the Super Bowl party and some genius, I think it may have been our friend Rich Erker, brought Krispy Kremes.
Oh.
And, when you have all of the heavy, salty action and you see a light, fluffy, glorious Krispy Kreme there, it was just, they were all gone.
Yeah, that was probably the number one hit.
That was fantastic.
People quietly but bodaciously grabbed those donuts.
I did too.
There was a donut on your plate with chicken wings, with sliders.
Yeah.
And
you didn't care.
You just didn't care. You sat down and said, yes, that is a Krispy Kreme donut on my plate. I had one. Ron had one.
2. I had 2.
2?
Yeah, he had 2.
Ron was the lucky one.
Yeah.
Hey, because Ron got there and said, Jamie K, get me another donut for they're all going.
No,
I think Ron got there early was the trick.
No,
he just said, I'm taking two.
I did my first one too fast. I'm like, man, I inhaled that. So my second one, I slowed down and enjoyed it.
I'm going to bring an extra dozen next year.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be the hero of that party next year.
Great idea. Mr. Farrell?
Yes. Well, I cannot top food talk, but I will talk a little bit about Olympic hockey. Nice to see Broberg and Dalibor Dvorsky, Philippe Broberg for the Blues and Dalibor Dvorsky participate in a couple wins for their native countries. Dvorsky had a goal and an assist. And boy, if they can bring back some top-notch international play back to the Blues, that'd be kind of fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
But we were kind of talking about this earlier about the Cardinals, making some moves.
Mm-hmm.
I just curious how active Steen and
Army,
are on those phones. So after this Olympic break, I bet you we're going to see a flurry of moves.
I think you're right. I think it wouldn't surprise me to see 4 trades. I would almost set the over/under on 4.5 trades for the Blues.
All right, I've got it.
A lot of chatter about Thomas going up north.
Yeah.
Shen moving on, and obviously Kyrou.
Yeah.
Bennington, if he has a good Olympics and we can maximize his value.
Suter, I wouldn't be surprised to see Suter. Because Suter's one of those kind of playoff guys,
Who's not going to be on the playoffs this year.
Well, unless not if he stays with the Blues, that's for sure.
Right.
0.02%, folks.
Ugh.
That was the money puck the last time. So yeah, good call. For mine, if any of you remember last year in the Big 12 tournament, the court was the subject of discussion because people would say, "This court is making me physically ill." It was like almost a hologram, and people are like, "What is that?" And they had a number of crazy small Big 12 symbols. They were like the XII, but they were small and they were almost psychedelic. Well, as Bachman Turner Overdrive said, you ain't seen nothing yet, because Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, who I've never heard of, recently said there are going to be big-time enhancements coming to the men's and women's tournaments. One of those was revealed Wednesday when the league announced that the tournaments will be played on, folks, I can't believe I'm getting ready to say this, state-of-the-art full LED video sports floor next month at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. In partnership with something called ASB Glass Floor, the Big 12 basketball tournaments will be played on an LED court. It will be the first time that this will be used in official competition. The court is described as, here's something again written by someone like me, meeting the standards of modern hardwood courts, just with integrated LED technology beneath the playing surface. It essentially means the court can display dynamic, interactive graphics, including, get this, changing the color and design of the court in real time. And all of this can be done seamlessly without compromising the performance, durability, or safety of the student athlete. The court will be used to highlight new partnership opportunities. Oh, dear.
Yeah. You got NASCAR and a basketball.
NASCAR comes to the basketball court. But this is what's going to be crazy, and can feature effects such as shot charts, animations, key plays, and interactive games during timeouts. The hat dance moves to the court. Oh dear!
As I was going to say, you're just playing on a giant jumbotron /TV scoreboard.
That's it. You're playing on a TV.
Yeah. Hey, and it's going to flash your stats. This team has missed the last 4 free throws.
Well, and then I immediately wondered if this can be like weaponized. Like, let's say that the other team's shooting a key free throw and you like start doing like a spinning, Mel Brooks high anxiety thing, like right as the guy's dribbling the ball, You like
the guy throws an air ball on the other side of the floor. there's a flashing sign that says airball everywhere.
Yeah, you disorient them, or like a crevice opens up and they think they're going to fall through. In a quote clearly written by someone like me, it says, "I'm excited about it," Kansas men's basketball coach Bill Self said in a statement. "I'm an old school guy, but this has me thinking of new school ways. And from what I've seen and heard, this is the wave of the future. I think it'll be great." And if Bill Self said that...
I was about to say, Bill Self did not say that.
His nose is still in the same place, so he did not say that.
He had other important things to say to a young freshman making $3 million. And that, folks, is what you call coming full circle.
Yeah.
With that note, Jim Sperlin, thank you very much, sir.
I enjoyed it as always, fellas.
Keith Farrell.
Have a good week, folks.
And that wraps this episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you who listen or watch, and we will talk to you next week. And until then, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.